Jonah is a sermon series about God's extravagant grace. And if there's one thing we know, it's that Jonah is not the only person who's followed God who's experienced his extravagant grace. In fact, we all have in some way. And so we're going to tell some stories about people in our church who've experienced God's grace. And this morning we get a chance to kick things off with Kristina, who is a mom here at Faith. So let's watch this story together.
My name is Kristina. I started attending Faith about 6 years ago. A co-worker of mine at the time invited me to a young adult ministry, which is now known as The Gathering. I'm constantly experiencing God's extravagant grace, and the story of how I became a single mom is no different. So my son's father and I dated only briefly when I became pregnant. Things had already ended by the time that I found out, and I knew that I was going to raise my child being a single mother. I think the most prominent emotions I felt were guilt, shame, definitely disappointment. I was angry with God and my circumstances. I definitely withdrew in a lot of ways. I stopped going to church. It felt like I lost my identity. The turning point for me, I think, was when I couldn't handle the stress any longer of keeping everything a secret, keeping everything to myself. When I decided to share, I definitely had a lot more support than I had expected to receive, especially from people at Faith. They didn't judge me. I didn't feel condemned. The best way that I can explain how becoming a single mom has changed the way that I view God and myself would be that I've truly learned unconditional, irrevocable love. I've never experienced that before. Jesus has helped me on my journey of being a single mom because he helps me to understand grace and forgiveness, which is definitely something that you need new every day, and it's challenging, but I understand Jesus a lot more and his love for us. I have experienced unimaginable joy staring into the face of a child that I had always wondered about. I thought I knew what I had longed for and what I had desired, and it just goes to show how remarkable our God is.